wanna be rich.
Hello, W4CY listeners. Are you ready to learn the spiritual laws to success and wealth? Well, pack your virtual bags, because it's 1 p.m. Eastern and it's time for the Traveling Investor Radio Show, sponsored by Cornerstone Investment Partners and RE/MAX Commercial Realty Partners. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to get wealthy. And now, here's your host and travel guide, the real estate guru, Nitsan Mosery.
On the Traveling Investor Radio Show, and this is my partner, Tom Zaimes. What's happening, Tom? How are you, brother?
Good to see you, my man.
You too, man.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
Great.
Yeah?
So far.
What you been up to?
Just working and having fun, man, like always. You know?
So anything new? Any new adventures? Any new closings?
Any new closings? No, but I'm making headway on a couple of things. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. Headway is good, right?
That's
Tell us about it. I mean, this is something that's been like, on your plate and on your mind for a long time.
Yeah, well, this is a good lesson. Sometimes in life things don't go as planned, right? Like Mike Tyson says.
Right.
So I had these deals and I placed these deals. And before closing, the lender found out something they didn't like.
Yeah.
And then they decided not to do the one deal, and then now they're letting it affect the other deal. So I've got hit in the face, and I had to regroup. I had to completely regroup and start from scratch, which is really tough once you've done all the hard work to have to stop and do it again. It's mentally exhausting and can be really defeating. But
so how did you keep going?
I do your oh shit roll. I say oh shit 3 times. I vent. I might tell a couple people about it. And then it's time to turn it all around. Start over, change my mindset, make it positive,
right.
Start envisioning the finish line. I ask myself, and this might be a little woo-woo, I ask out loud to whoever's listening, guardian angels, spirit guides, whatever, whoever wants to assist me. I say, what's it going to take to find a solution for this?
There you go.
And I don't try to answer it, but what happens is things start popping into my head.
That's a great question. Yeah. What's it going to take?
What's it going to take?
What's it going to take for this to happen? It's a great question to ask the universe.
So I use what's it going to take for everything.
Right? What's it going to take?
Everything.
That's a great thing.
If I'm going out on a date, first date, as I'm driving there, what's it going to take for me to have a great time tonight? And you don't try to answer these questions. You just ask them.
You ask them.
You ask them.
Right. You let go of the let go of the outcome.
Right.
Right.
And what it does is it plants all these possibilities in your mind. And it's a great tool. I've been using that tool for several years now.
That's awesome.
What's it going to take?
What's it going to take? You put it out into the universe, right? Because in nothingness exists everything, all possibilities.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So depending on where your energy is being directed, right, that's where the answer is going to come from.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, good for you, man. That's fantastic. Yeah. That's great. And you've been you've also been working with like a mindset coach and whatnot. How's that been working for you?
It's great. It's great. Yeah, I work with Maddie, right? An energy healer. So I'm keeping my vibe lit up every other week. I'm getting cleared, whatever crap I'm carrying around, whatever negative funk that might have come over me, I'm getting it cleared. I'm getting a nice fresh start every 2 weeks. I come out of the sessions feeling great, super relaxed. It's all good stuff.
Yeah,
it's all good stuff.
So Bob says, keep your head up, bro. So keep your head up, bro.
All right, Bob.
All right, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah, Sue says you can download your Facebook Live.
Yes.
Like an MP3.
Yeah, you can download them and you can upload them then to YouTube if you have a YouTube channel, or put them anywhere, Instagram, whatever. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you see something like that, I would go to Fiverr.com.
Yeah.
Or find somebody, somewhere, a virtual assistant. Right. Hey, take care of this for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not going to be this one time, because you do it, weekly?
Yeah.
So you do it weekly. Do you want to be stuck doing that?
No.
Right? No. That's what I tell people. We got to get out of that mindset that we got to do everything, right? You it's good to know how to do it all.
Yeah.
right? So that you can be the skipper of your ship and just make sure that everybody that you're putting in place is doing it correctly.
I like that.
Right? So, yeah. So on that note, well, I was talking about team and processes and whatnot, and I got to tell you, we had my daughter's bat mitzvah this past weekend, and it was a 6-month planning.
Wow.
Right? You got to come up with the list of people, right, that you're going to invite, and the location. You got to research the location. You got to research the entertainment. You got to, all this stuff, right? What are you going to do? And I got to tell you, my wife and I, we pulled it off really well.
Excellent.
I got to give her a lot of kudos, man. We glided through it, and it was awesome. People had a great time. It was fantastic. And it just shows, we had a process. We had trust. We had trust in the fact that we were both looking out for the best for our daughter. And we trusted each other that we were going to get the best. So she had her things that she was taking care of, and I had my things that I was taking care of. And then when it came together, it was awesome. It was fantastic, And one of the things that we, one of the reasons why we do this radio show, right, is to help people achieve financial freedom, right? To help you break through whatever negative limiting beliefs you have and show you that you can do whatever it is you want. Yeah. Whatever it is you want. And we're experts in commercial real estate. He's on the lending side, I'm on the buying and managing side. So we're here, and we want to show you guys how to go out and to either do this actively, like what we do. We go out and we find the deals and fund them and so forth, or become a passive investor. Let your money do the work for you. That's when you're really, truly financially free. Am I right?
Yep.
All right. So, in the radio show, we're going to bring you a lot of different guests. And the guest that we have today is a gentleman who has over 15 years of community philanthropy, working with children. He's an entrepreneur. He's fantastic. He has his own podcast. It's called the Lifetime Cash Flow Podcast. His name is Rod Khleif. He's passionate. He's a passionate real estate investor. He's got personally owned over 2,000 properties. He's an accomplished entrepreneur. He's built several successful multi-million-dollar businesses. Ask Rod what he's most proud of, and he'll say his 15 years of community philanthropy work with children. And he's got a foundation called Rod's Foundation, the Tiny Hands Foundation. It's benefited more than 65,000 underprivileged children. That's kind of like the why behind it, right? Yeah. The reasoning, right? The push.
The big why.
Right? That big push, right? Yeah. Why do I need to make so much money? What do I want to do with it? Where do I want to go with it? How do I want to help my community?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's what it is. And this guy's right here. He's combined his passion for real estate investing with his personal philosophies of goal setting, envisioning, and manifesting success to become one of America's top real estate investing professionals. He also has a 3-day event. I was on his podcast. I had the honor of being on his podcast, and a guy like this who understands mindset, understands success, understands giving back and whatnot. This is a gentleman that I want to have on the show so that I can add value to you out there, the travelers listening to us right now. And if you're out there, why don't you just hit a couple of keypads or key buttons over there and let us know where you're listening from. I'd love to know. We'd love to know where you guys are from and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have Rod Khleif, and we're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about, how to create passive cash flow so that you can go out and do anything you want in life. How does that sound? That sounds pretty awesome.
Great.
Right? All right, guys. So travelers, stay tuned. Hit us up where you're from, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to The Traveling Investor on W4CY Radio. Please take a moment to listen to the sponsors who have a secret message just for you. Don't leave. The best is yet to come. The Traveling Investor will be right back.
I wanna be rich. Oh, I wanna be rich.
Behind everything you're searching for is something you're actually looking for. When you search with the real Yellow Pages, you get more than a contractor. You get a whole new curb appeal. It's not just getting directions to a dry cleaner with YP.com. It's rescuing an old favorite from the back of the closet. And it's more than finding a locksmith with YP.com on your mobile. It's getting to sleep in your own bed. Whatever it might be, there are more ways to search and more ways to find exactly what you're looking for with the real Yellow Pages, YP.com, and YP.com on your mobile, only from AT&T.
All
this is Rebel Medler. Join me for In Your Face on W4CY.com, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it.
How healthy is your pet? Does your pet suffer from ear infections, allergies, diabetes, cancer? Does your pet have a sensitive stomach? Well, we have the solution. Who are we? Fiesta Pet Deli. South Florida's original and only fresh food deli for pets. Our exclusive real food diets bring back the puppy and kitten in your pet. Have a healthier pet, less shedding, less scratching and itching, and eliminate allergies. We carry a full assortment of healthy, holistic, frozen, canned, and dry foods. Try out South Florida's largest selection of natural supplements. We also have a large selection of natural treats, chews, and natural grooming products. It's only natural to stop by Fiesta Pet Deli for all your natural products to keep your pet healthier and happier. Stop by Fiesta Pet Deli at the Festival Marketplace, located at Sample Road and the Turnpike in Pompano. Or call us at 954-971-2500. That's 954-971-2500. Don't forget, ask for your $10 off coupon, good for any purchase over $50. Fiesta Pet Deli.
Welcome back, travelers. This is Nitzan Mosery, the traveling investor, and I've got my co-host here, Tom Zaimes. We still have to find you a name. You know what? I want to put it out there to all the travelers listening right now. Come up with a good nickname, a good radio name for my boy Tom here, all right? So before the break, we were talking about mindset. We were talking about, success. We were talking about how to create passive income so that you can go do whatever it is you're passionate about, and the why behind it. And the gentleman that we have on the line today is just the epitome of that, right? He's gone out there, and you know what, Rod, you there?
Yes, sir. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Awesome. I'm going to stop talking. I want to say, you know what? You've got such an amazing story. I want you to please tell our story. But before you do that, I want to thank our listeners that are listening in Florida, Texas, Kansas City, Ohio, North Carolina, California, Arkansas. Guys, thanks so much for listening. We want to give you a lot of value, so please let us know any way that we can help you. So, Rod, talk to me. You'd mentioned
sure.
Right before we started, you mentioned your story of how you lost $50 million.
Yeah, so stop laughing.
I'm not laughing. I'm right.
I'm just messing with you. Let me tell you my story. It goes back a little ways, but it won't take that long. So I immigrated to this country when I was 6 years old with my mother, Zvancha, my brother, Albert. We ended up in Denver, Colorado, and immigrated from Holland. And, we didn't have much. In fact, I wore clothes from the Goodwill and the Salvation Army all the way through junior high school till I could get a job and actually buy my own clothes. And, we ate expired food and drank powdered milk. And, I'm sure some of the people listening probably have it harder or had it harder than I did. But I knew at the time I wanted more. And luckily, my mom had an incredible work ethic. So she babysat kids so we'd have enough money to eat. And with her babysitting money, she bought the house across the street from us when I was about 14 for about $30,000 approximately. Then when I was 17, she told me it had gone up $20,000 in her sleep. It just appreciated. And I'm like, what? I'm getting into real estate. Okay, forget college. I'm going straight to real estate. So I did. And I got my real estate broker's license, which you could do back then with education. Right when I turned 18, I became a broker, not an agent. Now you have to they're smart and you have to have some experience. But anyway, so I was a broker. I was going to be rich. So I made maybe $8,000 my first year. This is 1978. Okay. My second year, I maybe made about $10,000. But my third year, I made well over $100,000. So what happened between year 2 and year 3 for me to 10x my income? And this is a topic I love talking about, and that is what happened was I discovered that 80 to 90% of your success in anything, as I know you guys know, is your mindset. It's your psychology. Only 10 to 20% is the mechanical information, the vehicle, the real estate, entrepreneurship, business, whatever it is. It's 80 to 90% mindset. So I met a guy that taught me about that, and I 10x'd my income. Now, fast forward to today, I've owned over 2,000 houses, multiple apartment complexes that I held long term. I flipped and wholesaled a few too, but I hold 2,000 of them long term. And in 2006, my net worth went up $17 million while I slept. A little more than my mom's 20 grand. But there's a punchline, and you already blew the punchline. The punchline is I lost it all. I lost it and a whole lot more in 2008. In 2008, I ended up losing $50 million. True story, painful. I call it a seminar because it's only a failure if you don't get back up or you don't learn. You don't learn the lesson. And so, it was a painful freaking seminar. I thought I was set for life. But, if you'd like, I can talk about Nitsan, what it took to, first of all, what it took to have 50 million to lose in the first place. But secondly, what it took to recover to the success that I enjoy today. Would you like me to chat about that briefly?
Yeah, that would be great because people definitely want to know how they can go and break through where they are today and achieve success. And you're a great example of, doing it and doing it correctly. And obviously, yes, we need to understand what was the mindset after you lose $50 million and then what was the switch, what was the breakthrough that takes you to where you are today. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, really, it's even precedes losing the 50 million. It really was the mindset to get there in the first place. And really what it is, Nitsan and Tom, it's knowing exactly what you want and why you want it with clarity. Okay. And so, I take my coaching students and my live events. One of the first things we do is we do this goal setting workshop. So if you humor me, it'll take about 3 minutes to describe it. I mean, it takes longer, obviously live, but and if you got the ability to take a couple notes, you'll be glad you did. So how you do this and how I did it was first of all, you sit down, you write down everything you could possibly want in life, okay? All the stuff, okay? Stuff is great. Stuff motivates you, the houses, the cars, the boats, the jet skis, the planes, whatever it is. And take the lid off your brain. Imagine that if you write it down, you're going to get it, which I will tell you is not outside the realm of reality. So if you want a freaking yacht, you want a jet, whatever it is, write it down. And then keep writing. Don't stop, to analyze things. Just keep writing. You can scratch. You're an analyst, but keep writing till you can't think of another thing. Then you also want to write down what you want to learn in your lifetime. Me, I want to learn how to fly a helicopter. What do you want to learn? Foreign language, whatever it is, write it down. Also write down who you want to help. Okay, like I bought my parents a house here in Florida, bought them a car, took them on cruises. Who do you want to do things for? Write that down. So it's not just the stuff. It's everything you want to do, be, or have. Make sure you write down how much money you want in the bank in 3 years, how much you want in 10 years. Write down how much cash flow you want from your real estate in a couple years, 3 years, and then 10 years. So all of that. And once you're done, that now these are dreams. To make them real outcomes, they have to have timelines on them. So the next step is put a number by each goal, how long it's going to take you to achieve it. Put a 1, a 3, a 5, even a 10 or a 20. Remembering that as human beings, we will overestimate what we can accomplish in a year and massively underestimate what we can do in a decade or 20 years, okay? For example, when I was 18, I lived in Denver and I always wanted to live on the beach, and there's no freaking beach in Denver. So, I had pictures of palm trees. I looked at pictures of the beach, and, I ended up building this $8 million house on the beach with the beach on one side and 10,000 square feet, boat houses on the backside. It was a Gulf to Bay because I knew I wanted it, and I thought about it, and I visualized it. Because, guys, writing down your goals triggers something in your mind called your reticular activating system. And it's that filter, that subconscious filter that your mind decides is important to you. And the greatest example of it is when you first buy a car. You never really notice them, and then you buy the car and you see them everywhere. Were they there before? Of course they were. And so that's your reticular. So the writing the goals down is so important. You put a number by each goal. There's a couple more steps. Okay, once you've put a number by each goal, pick your number one goal. I mean, the one that if you get it, be like, oh my God, this is amazing. That goal. Put that on a separate sheet of paper. Then pick your top 3 one-year goals. Put those on a separate sheet of paper. So 4 goals on another piece of paper. And frankly, this is where most people stop. In fact, most people don't even get this far. And you're already ahead of 99.9% of the population by getting this far. But the goals are important. They will push you and they will pull you. But what's more important is knowing why they're an absolute must. So you need to write down a paragraph for each goal, why it's an absolute freaking must for you to achieve it, not a should. I should do this, I should do that. We end up shoulding all over ourselves. It's an absolute freaking must, okay? And so write down why it's a must and use emotionally charged words like amazing and incredible so we can go do whatever we want, with whoever we want, whenever we want, go wherever we want. Whatever it is for you, write it down so I can show my spouse what success looks like, so I can show my kids what success looks like. So put that down. Then take it one little step further. Put a little pain in there if you don't achieve the goal. Because as human beings, we'll do more to avoid pain than gain pleasure. So put in there so I don't feel like a failure. So I don't feel like I failed my children, failed my spouse. So I don't live a life of regret. Use that. This is the fuel to get you to take action, my friends, okay? To get you uncomfortable, to push you through limiting beliefs and fear to actually make it happen. So that's the second to the last step. Once you've got the whys written down, then the last thing you need to do is you need to get pictures of your goals, okay? And I'll tell you a couple of examples here. If you humor me, I'm almost done here, Nitsan. I know I'm hogging the mic, but
this
okay.
is awesome.
I'm hogging the mic a little bit. But listen, guys, I'll give you some personal examples. But before I do, I'll give you a public example. When Jim Carrey was flat broke in Hollywood, he wrote himself a check for $10 million, and he put on there for services rendered, and he'd look at it he'd sit up by the Hollywood sign, he'd look at it, he'd visualize cashing it, and that's how much he made for Dumb and Dumber. I'll give you some of my personal examples. Back when I was 18, became a broker, and I figured I had to have a 4-door car to show people houses, right? So I bought this bone freaking ugly 4-door Granada, bench seats, ugliest thing you've ever seen. But I worked for a guy that had a Corvette, and he let me drive it. Now that's important to remember because that experiential piece is so important with your goals. If you want a car, go test drive it. If you want a certain kind of house, go to the open house of something like it. Experience it as much as you can. So I got a picture out of a magazine. This is before you could spell internet. And I got a picture out of a magazine. I put it on the visor of this bone ugly Granada. Within a year or two, I had a Corvette. Give you a couple more examples, but let me say this before I do. This is not me bragging. Because these things don't even interest me anymore, but they're great for illustrative purposes. So I'll give you another car example. This is back when the TV show Magnum P.I. was out. The actor's name was Tom Selleck, and he drove this Ferrari 308, beautiful freaking car, and I thought that was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. So I got a picture of that actual car out of a magazine, put it on the visor of my Corvette, and within a year or two, I had a Maserati look just like it. Last example. I'm the guy that always wanted a Lamborghini, okay? I had the posters in my bedroom with the Lamborghini Countach. That was the model back then, with the bikinis and the soap and all that. Had all that in my room. And what's funny is my son collected models of exotic cars. He had about 30. He had a model of the exact same color and style that I ended up buying. In fact, I'll show you something. Let me just hammer it home since we're doing this visually as well. This is my planner, okay? This is a day timer. Well, it's now called Franklin Covey. I've had this for 20 years, okay? In the back of this thing are pictures I've had in here for 20 years. So I know if you guys are listening, you can't see this, but the first pictures are my gratitude pictures. They're pictures of my kids when they were very young, okay? And then after that, they're dog-eared, they're in plastic. And then after that is the pictures of the things that I wanted. What's crazy is this top picture was before I built my house on the beach. That $8 million house I was talking about looks just like this, okay? And what's crazy is these bottom pictures look like the compound that I live in now. I live in this amazing compound. It's 6 buildings, exercise room, giant main house, guest house on the water. I mean, media center. I can go on and on. It's spectacular. And because God's got a sense of humor. I lost the other house, by the way, when, because God's got a sense of humor. I can see it across the bay. It's right out my backyard. But anyway, then I got pictures of, other things that I want, stupid stuff like watches. I've got a few $100,000 worth of watches. The Lamborghini before I ever got it, okay? The Rolls Royce. All this stuff I got because I had pictures. So guys, I know I've lost some of the analytical ones listening, but it would be a mistake if you don't take me serious on this because this stuff freaking works. So anyway, drop the mic. Sorry,
it totally works.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me add one thing because it's really important as it relates to goals, guys. And that is, I built that house on the beach, okay? This $8 million house, magnificent freaking home. I mean, to give you an idea of the house, it had a big spiral staircase up through the middle, and on the second floor, there was an aquarium. The aquarium cost me almost $200,000. So that gives you an idea of the house, okay? And I'm floating in the pool about 2 months after I built it, and that's why I want to share this, because it's important for goals. So about 2 months after I built it, I worked for it for 20 years. I'm floating up at this, looking up at this testament to my ego, which is really what it was. It was to prove to the world I was good enough, that I mattered, okay? That's why I built this thing, and that's why, I got to the level of success that I did, was to prove something. And I'm looking up at this thing 2 months after I built it. My family's inside sleeping. There's a giant waterfall from the second floor in the pool. You had to walk through the waterfall to get in the pool. Pool was in magazines. I mean, just spectacular. Pool's changing colors at night. And I'm looking up at this thing, and I get depressed. And I don't mean just a little bummed. I mean, I was freaking bummed, okay? And I'm like, what the hell? I've just achieved success by 100x society standards. How could I possibly be bummed out right now? And that's what I want to share with your listeners real quick. And that is, there were two things going on. The first thing was you should never achieve a big goal without having other goals lined up behind it. Like the good book says, without a vision, the people perish. You've got to have a vision for your future. So that was number one. But there was a second thing that was even bigger. And basically, I was successful, but I was unfulfilled because I had been totally focused on Rod. Show the world I matter. Show the world I'm good enough. So that year I went and saw Tony Robbins. Thank God I did. I mean, I bought some books and I got Dale Carnegie and Zig Ziglar and all. I was going to get myself back out of this funk. But one of them was Tony's book. So I went and saw him. And I found out that he fed families for the holidays. And I'm like, that's really freaking cool. And so I went back, and my brother and I went and fed 5 families. And we called the churches to find out who really needed help. And the third family changed my life. We go to this house, and it was this 1-bedroom piece of you-know-what. It was like you walk through the living room to walk through the bedroom to get to the kitchen, which had the bathroom off it. It was like a 1-bedroom, but not even a really nice 1-bedroom because you had to walk through it to get to the kitchen. Lady had 5 kids. It was just her and her 5 kids. So we bought these big boxes of food. And what's crazy is we're going to do this again in 3 weeks, but I'll tell you the rest of that in a second. But we buy these big boxes of food, frozen turkeys. We found out she had kids, so we got toys for the kids. We put all this on the porch. She comes out. She sees all this. She starts crying. Her kids come out. A couple of them start crying. I start crying. And guys, I'm blessed to say, since then, we have now fed 70,000 children for the holidays the last 20 years. We've done, tens of thousands of backpacks filled with school supplies. We've done probably 20,000 teddy bears to give to the local police departments for their officers to keep in their cars when they encounter a child. They can comfort a child that's been traumatized. So those of you listening, I know you want financial success if you're listening to these two guys. And I'm here to tell you that success is empty without this component. I have a podcast. I interview very, very wealthy people as well, a billionaire even, and multimillionaires. And I see some of these guys that are like I was back then, totally focused on themselves, and they're not giving back. Guys, everything in this universe was meant to give back in some fashion. In fact, if there's something on this earth that doesn't contribute to the whole in some fashion, it gets eliminated. Okay, humans are no different. We were meant to contribute in some fashion. So even if you're not where you want to be successfully yet, give back now. Don't wait till you have the money. You start giving back now, because what you give, you get back 100-fold. Okay, so that was the last piece I wanted to share. Anyway.
That's awesome, man.
I concur.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So let's ask you some questions now. So
sure.
When you realized that the roller coaster was going down and you were losing everything, what was the mindset that you kept in there? How did you not freak out? How did you not freak out?
Of course, I was under a rock for for a couple of months. I mean, all you see was a little eyeball poking out under the rock, but then, I reassociated with what I want and why I want it. And really, that's the truth of it. I focused on, because guys, what you focus on gets bigger. What you focus on is what you get in life. If you want, if you focus on debt, like you think I'm going to focus on eliminating debt. What do you think it's bigger? You focus on making money, not the debt. Like they asked Mother Teresa, if she was anti-war, and she said, no, I'm pro-peace. See the difference? And so I luckily I was around Tony still. I spent 20 years following him around the planet, and it's pretty hard to be unmotivated when you're around that guy. But I will say this, I was taught to focus on what you want. And guys, those of you listening, please take note of that, because, where focus goes, energy flows. And so if you want to build something great, you got to focus on, and clarity is power. The more clear it is, the better. So if you wrote those goals down, you do that exercise, like I said, do it again in a few months, and it will become more clear. Get those pictures, go on Google and download pictures that resonate with you. Don't even have to be exactly what it is you want, but download them, have them blown up. If you saw around my office here, you'd see pictures of what matters to me now. I've got vision boards literally right here, guys. I mean, I look at them every day. That's my gratitude board. That's the first board. So guys, this stuff works. I still use it every day because it freaking works. But that's what it was. It was focusing on what I want, remembering to hone in on what I want and not get sucked into the fear and the stress of losing it all, and it came back much, much quicker. So
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, Rod, I'm glad you brought that up. I used to be heavy, and when I was losing weight and eating right and working out, there was times I'm like, what am I doing this for? I always had this vision in my head of how I wanted to look, and this was before I even knew about law of attraction, all that stuff.
Right.
And then I realized after the fact that I ended up looking exactly how I wanted to look in my head. And I should have asked for more.
These pictures in my book. I mean, I was crazy how well this shit works. Excuse me, how well this stuff works. Okay, so yeah, I love it, man. I absolutely love it. You've got to focus on what you want with clarity, and when you feel yourself getting fearful, first of all, rehone your focus and just take massive freaking action. Action mitigates fear, and if you feel fearful, become grateful, because you can't be fearful and grateful at the same time. Use gratitude; it's foundational to everything. I have my podcast and I talk about, mindset. Literally every other episode is on mindset, because it's such a critical piece of this. It's not just the interviews like we're doing here. It's that's the biggest piece is pushing through fear, taking 100% responsibility, building your emotional IQ, making sure you've got your goals and your whys and not being, recognizing if you've got limiting beliefs, realizing that truly they were probably built when your childhood from some emotional event that has no basis in fact. So you got to shine your adult spotlight on this stuff. You got to look in the mirror, like Socrates said, a life unexamined is a life not worth living. You got to look in the mirror and work on yourself.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you 100%. You have to go and you have to examine. And in the Jewish tradition, the Jewish culture, every year in after the New Year's, we have the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement is the day that you should sit and reflect on the year before. Who did you wrong? How did you speak to yourself? We were talking about this last week. How did you speak to yourself? What did you say to yourself? What did you say to others? Who did you help? Who did you hinder? All these things. You have to examine it so that you can become better at as a human being.
Love it. And even if you're not Jewish, guys, you should be doing that.
Absolutely.
And I tell my students, journal about these things, because again, that gives you clarity. That gives you clarity on your life, so you don't repeat the same mistakes. And you're aware. I mean, so many people go through life in a trance. They're not aware of their life, and you've got to self-reflect. You have to self-actualize.
Absolutely.
And you have to get around people that want what you want, okay? You have to get around people. You have to be so careful with who you surround yourself with, because who you surround yourself with is who you become in every aspect, not just financially, but also your health, your happiness, your relationships. You are going to model. And what's sad is sometimes, you've got people that are around you that are influencing you because of their fears. They'll hold you back. And sometimes they're your family. So I tell you, love your family, but choose your peers, okay? And choose wisely, because you are going to become them. I've got this Facebook group. It's got 30,000 people in it now. It's the largest multifamily group on the planet. And so I'll mention this to your listeners. It's just one example of getting around people. It's multifamilycommunity.com is a direct link to that. But regardless, you will go to that one. Make sure you go to real estate meetups. Make sure you're around people that want more. The people that, because you'll have friends that will hold on to you with their claws, trying to hold you down, not because they don't like you, it's because they're afraid of losing you. And unfortunately, some of them will fall away as you expand your consciousness, you grow, you become better financially, and you make a decision to become more. Some of these people regretfully will fall away, but that's what life's about. And unfortunately, that does happen. You can still love them. You just can't allow them to influence you.
Absolutely. That's a bit. We were just talking about that before we brought you on the show.
No kidding.
The top 5 people that you hang out with most will determine your success, your income, your happiness, and so forth.
Everything. Yeah, it's so critical. So choose wisely, guys.
Absolutely.
And take action. That magnificent life of and get uncomfortable. Be okay with a little bit of discomfort, because the magnificent life of your dreams is just on the other side of some discomfort. So be okay with being uncomfortable for a little while. I've got a sign on my wall here. I can actually show you guys. It says, focus, grind now, play later. So listen, live like most people won't for a few years, so you can live like most people can't for the rest of your life. Just take freaking action.
That's right. It's amazing how many people get the knowledge and then put it on the shelf.
Hey, listen, if it was just knowledge, there'd be a bunch of wealthy librarians and college professors out there. It's not the what or the how, it's the you must do.
Exactly.
And can I mention my podcast? Is that all right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So guys,
Absolutely.
if you're interested in multifamily, I'm blessed to say now that I have the largest commercial real estate podcast on the planet. We're about to hit 7 million downloads. Just amazing to me, because I never planned any of that. It's like such a blessing. It's like you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, but it's turned into this amazing thing. So it's called Lifetime Cash Flow, and I've got a lot of free resources as well on my website, rodkhleif.com. I've got this workbook. I just did a video. It's right here on my desk because I just did a video on this today. But I've got this 67-page multifamily workbook that it's free. It's on my website. So if you want it, just go download it, rodkhleif.com. And, I'd love to help in any way that I can with there's so many free resources there as well, and as well as the podcast. And I mean, you guys are in the right place if you're listening to these two guys. So, awesome. we love, you can tell we all love what it is we do.
Absolutely. We love giving back. We love watching people succeed, right? That's the beautiful thing about it.
And we're not intimidated by it. Now, a lot of people are intimidated or jealous. They fall into that comparison trap. But the truly successful are inspired by other people's success, are motivated by other people's success. But again, that true definition of success involves adding value in some way. So find a way to give back. Find something you're passionate about, children, elderly, the environment, animals, whatever it is. Find something that juices you, and just do it in a small way until you can afford to do it in a big way.
Yep, that's awesome. Rod, thank you so much for being on the show. It was tons of information. Travelers, you really should have been taking notes. And what's cool is that we're going to upload this as a podcast to the different iHeart and iTunes and whatnot and Spotify. So people will be able to listen to you constantly and just feed off of your energy and your insights and your knowledge. So thank you for being on the show.
Really my pleasure, buddy. I love Yoda behind you there, man. We don't try, we just do, right? We do or we don't, do or don't do, right?
Exactly. All right. Well, travelers, stay tuned. We're going to be right back from word from our sponsors. Rod, thank you so much for being on the show again.
My pleasure, brother. Take care.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Traveling Investor on W4CY Radio. Please take a moment to listen to the sponsors who have a secret message just for you. Don't leave. The best is yet to come. The Traveling Investor will be right back.
I wanna be rich. Oh, I wanna be rich.
Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Star, the king of cool and your host of The Jimmy Star Show, the entertainment radio show for all you cool and unique people looking to get a behind-the-scenes peek at what's going on in the entertainment industry. Listen in as me and my cool crowd of co-hosts bring you celebrity guests, new music, and the good times in fashion, entertainment, and pop culture. Right, everybody? Right! Tune in live Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on W4CY.com.
You wanted the best? You got the best. Your favorite internet radio station in the land, W4CY Radio. We have all the entertainment you desire, from talk to music to comedy, right here on W4CY.com. Listen to W4CY Radio 24/7.
You know exactly how much sun and water every flower needs in order to bloom. You know when someone's in love based on the bouquet purchased. You know flowers. We can help you find more people to buy them. And by working together, we can get your small business growing. At AT&T Advertising Solutions, we have more ways to reach more people. With print, online, mobile, and direct marketing, AT&T Advertising Solutions has local advertising experts to help your small business find more customers. Call 1-800-GET-REAL to learn more. AT&T, rethink possible.
And I'm Ricky, and you're listening to W4CY because it's the best of radio. And this is Leonard Skinner.
There you go.
Skinner!
Attention listeners, we are preparing once again for takeoff, so please return your seats as W4CY Radio welcomes back your real estate guru, the traveling investor, Nitsan Mosery.
What's happening, travelers? Nitsan Mosery here, your host, the traveling investor, and Tom Zaimes. So remember, we put it out there, a little challenge to the listeners. We need to come up with a good radio name for this boy here, okay?
Yeah, we're taking requests.
We're taking requests, right? But wasn't that awesome? Wasn't Rod
amazing.
awesome, man?
Yeah,
you know, his
guy.
energy, right? His
Awesome.
vibe, right? And that's how successful people are, right?
Beth even wrote, "This guy is awesome."
That's right, Beth. Yeah, you know, this guy is awesome, right? You know, and Janilla, good that you took a lot of notes. That's awesome. You know, our job is to bring you guys values, to, you know, give you information so that you can move, you know, your life, your business, your spiritual, your finances to the next level, right? We want to teach you how to do that. We want to show you what's working. But this guy is awesome. And if you noticed his energy,
wow,
you know, his focus, his energy, his passion, right? Everything that he was talking about was just right on.
Yeah.
Right? It was just, it was perfect, right? And that's exactly what we talk about.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I had one of my...
He's living, he's embodying it all.
That's right. And you can tell the people who aren't living it and the ones that are just talking about it. Right? They got a different vibe. They got a different sense. They're completely, you know, you can sense it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
You can sense the genuineness of and the genuine success, right? A lot of people, they say, well, if you can't do it, teach it, right? You know, but, you know, someone that has his success and his focus and whatnot, you can lose $50 million and then bounce back from it and gain double that, right? Because it's all up here, right? You know, he could have said, shit, I'm done. You know, I'm going to go get a job at Starbucks, and that's it, right?
It's all mindset. You know, I heard someone say this, that if they took all the money in the world and they handed it out equally to everybody, they redistributed equally, in a matter of a few years, all the same money would be right back into the same people's hands.
That's right, because it's the way people think.
Yeah.
You know, you have people even in this country that think, you know, that they need to be handed everything.
Yeah.
They don't want to go out and do it, right? And this is the wild. We live in the wild, man. This is our wild, right? It's do or die, right?
Yeah, it is. We've lost sight of that.
It's do or die,
sink
man.
or swim.
Right. Either you achieve massive success or you're out there begging for help.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay to ask for help as long as you're going towards a specific goal, as you're moving towards something, right?
Asking for help is it's frowned upon for no good reason.
Right.
Right? I think it's stupid not to ask for help.
Watch. I ask for help on everything.
Yeah.
Hey, who do you know that can help me with this? Hey, do you know about this? Do you know? Because I don't have all the answers up
Absolutely.
here. I'm not the smartest person. You know, millions of people are way smarter than me. But I understand that, you know what, I could use and bring all this energy and focus it and use it, right?
Harness all this this information.
Yeah, man. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, so travelers, one last thing before we go, just a quick reminder. November 2nd, we're doing our mastermind here, right? And we're going to be talking about the mindset, about everything that Rod was talking about today, the whole process, the system, the goals, everything. We're going to talk about that from 8 to 5 o'clock. It's a whole day. We're going to cut for lunch. And then at 5 o'clock, you know what? We'll go to the beach, take off our shoes, play in the sand, and just hang out.
Get some vitamin G.
Right?
Grounding.
Exactly. Grounding. Yeah. Get the salt. It's going to be amazing. It's $97. Go to ttimastermind.eventbrite.com. Tomorrow, I'm closing registration. Tomorrow at midnight. After that, you won't be able to. I also have our meetup tomorrow night in Boca at the Pavilion Grill, 301 Yamato Road in Boca, 7 o'clock. We're going to talk about how to build your team. All right? Just what we talked about. There's so many moving parts. There's so many different things. There's so much knowledge and energy that needs to be put out there. You need to build a team to help you be successful. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Check us out on Meetup. Well, that's all the time we've got.
Great show.
Dude, It was awesome.
Yeah.
Travelers, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. And may the sunshine warm upon your fields and rain fall soft upon your fields. Until the next time, I'm Nitzan Mosby, the Traveling Investor, and this is Tom Zaimes. We'll see you next week somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Take care. Be well.
Wow, what a great show. Are you excited to learn the untold secrets of how to get wealthy? Then tune in next Thursday and every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern right here on W4CY Radio. You too can learn how to become a traveling investor. If you missed any part of this episode or want to hear it again, go to the Traveling Investor Podcast on iHeartRadio. You can listen to all past episodes on demand 24/7. Next week's episode will take us somewhere new and exciting, so don't miss it. Thank you for listening.
I wanna